Before Revelation, before Daniel, there was Enoch. Thousands of years ago, a man claimed to have walked with angels, to have seen the flood before it came, and to have looked into the future, beyond the end. His book was removed, his visions buried, but his warnings remained. They say Enoch was taken by God, but before he vanished, he left behind a prophecy, one that speaks, not of his time, but of ours. If you believe the truth lies between the lines of what they erased, subscribe now. It's time to open the book they tried to seal. Genesis 5 verse 24 says something no other verse does. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. That's it. No explanation, no burial, no final words, just gone. In ancient tradition, this wasn't death. This was ascension. But who was he? He lived in a world on the brink of destruction before the flood. A generation described as violent, corrupted, and spiritually blind. Yet Enoch stood apart. He saw the sickness in humanity and in the heavens. He warned those around him, but none listened. And then he vanished. The book of Enoch, written centuries later, claims to preserve what he saw, not just visions of the earth, but of realms beyond it. He was shown the architecture of creation, the places of judgment, the destiny of angels and of men. This book was known to early Jews and Christians alike. It was quoted, it was read, and then it disappeared. In Enoch's account, the world descent into darkness didn't begin with man. It began with angels. The Watchers, divine beings assigned to guide humanity, broke the barrier between heaven and earth. They descended. They taught forbidden knowledge. They took human wives. Their union produced in the film giants, monstrous and ravenous. Not only physically violent, but spiritually corrupt. They taught humans how to make weapons, how to manipulate nature, how to control others through magic and seduction. Heaven was outraged. Enoch is taken into the celestial realm to witness what is coming. There, he sees the judgment of the Watchers. He is shown the chambers of stars, the storehouses of winds, the prisons of fallen angels. He sees Azazel, the Watcher who led the rebellion, bound in chains beneath desert sands, awaiting the final judgment. The parallels with Genesis 6 and Revelation 9 are haunting, and Enoch is told, this is just the beginning. What happened once will happen again. In one of Enoch's most chilling visions, time itself is revealed as a structure. He doesn't speak of months or years. He speaks of weeks, not of days, but of ages. 10 total. Each one represents a phase in human and cosmic history. Each one ends in a shift, sometimes divine, sometimes cataclysmic. The early weeks describe the creation, the fall, and the flood. Middle weeks speak of the giving of the law and the corruption of the priesthood. One week foretells an era when men will build idols and worship stone. Another, when the righteous will vanish and injustice will rule. But the 10th week is different. There is fire, there is purging, there is a throne surrounded by flame. The fallen are judged, the earth is reshaped, and the righteous, few as they are, inherit a new creation. Enoch claims this is already set, not predicted, planned. Each week ends exactly as it must. And by that logic, we are running out of time, despite its influence. The book of Enoch was excluded from most versions of the Bible. Why? Some say it was too mystical, too strange, too difficult to verify. But others believe the reasons were far more deliberate. In Enoch, we see a son of man, a messianic figure who exists before creation. He judges kings. He walks among fire. He is not symbolic. He is terrifying. This figure closely resembles the Christ described in Revelation. Yet, the text predates the Gospels. That made church authorities uneasy. It challenged the uniqueness of the New Testament message. Worse, Enoch claims knowledge didn't just come through prophets or priests, but through visions, through dreams, through angels, through rebellion. It spoke of a heaven not fully aligned, of celestial wars, of authority split between dimensions. This was not a God of empire. This was a God of mystery, wild, untamed, sovereign. Such a book could not be canonized. so it was buried, but never destroyed. Enoch's final visions are not about his time. They are about the end. He sees the earth groaning, mountains melting, oceans swallowing cities, the stars shifting their courses. He speaks of dark suns and moons that bleed, of rulers falling before a throne they do not recognize, of ancient ones, not human, returning from the deep. He sees books opened in heaven, records of every soul, and a verdict pronounced. He writes of a world where truth will be rare, where the righteous will be hunted, where men will honor what is cursed and curse what is holy. And when that time comes, the watchers will rise, not to guide, but to accuse. The final judgment will not be quiet. It will be seen, felt, feared. But Enoch ends with hope, a new light, a restored earth, and the Son of Man revealed, not in secret, but in glory. The book of Enoch is not mythology. It is memory, and maybe it's a warning. It was silenced, censored, banned. But why? Maybe because it told us too much, because it named the unseen, because it dared to describe what would happen after the end. So ask yourself, if Enoch saw the future, why weren't we allowed to read it? And what if the future he described has already begun?